Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Backboard Podcast, episode 4. My name is Omar Othman. I'm with my co-hosts Max and Earl. We have crazy news starting off this podcast because for some reason a trigger was pulled and Damian Lillard is now a Milwaukee Buck. First of all, wait, go for it, please.
I called this trade 2 days ago, man. We got on the podcast. I said Damian Lillard for sure is going to be on the Bucks next time we talk on the podcast. You don't believe
Did
me?
you say that? No, you didn't.
We will go back and check that, but I don't think that's true.
When was this? No. When was this? You did not say this on Full Court Press yesterday. You said what I said, which is that Lillard probably won't be traded.
Full Court Press is a
last podcast and skip all the way to 32-45. 32-45. You'll see what I'm talking about.
On which podcast?
The last one we posted.
Beyond the
Also the one from last week.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fact checking this right now.
All right.
Y'all talk. I'm gonna fact check Earl.
Okay, so I want to go over the full trade details. The Bucks receive Damian Lillard. The Blazers receive a haul with Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Tonami Kamara, their 2029 first round pick, and 2 pick swaps. The Suns are also receiving Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nazir Little, and Keon Johnson to fill out their bench, which I think will prove very vital to them later on if they need to sign certain key bench players because they are in desperate need of that, and we know that. But the Bucks honestly got a freaking steal because the only thing they really gave up was Drew Holiday, which is surprising to say the least. Drew Holiday and then Grayson Allen, which is kind of crazy to me, right? Like they got DeAndre Ayton because the Suns wanted to get off of him. That's why they got him and all of that. But my thoughts on this trade is this was great. I mean, this worked out for quite literally every single party in this trade. I don't think there was a negative thing about it. If I had to say one negative thing about it, I think I'd say like maybe it was a little undervalued. I'd expect a bigger package, maybe with some more picks involved. But I mean, the talent is there. Like DeAndre Ayton there, like Drew Holiday there. But it's also being stated that they're going to trade off of him as well and get more stuff off of him as well. So what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, first of all, I'll just start off by saying, Earl, I'm talking during 32-45. I knew you were trolling. I would have remembered if you talked about Milwaukee, but I checked anyways for the sake of the viewers. You also go check out episode 4 and scroll to 32-45. I'm in the middle of one of my brilliant monologues. But Earl is definitely not spitting any sort of Milwaukee facts. In fact, Earl, as soon as less than 24 hours ago, said that we probably won't have a Dame trade next week, which I also said the same thing. I'll fully admit that. We agreed there. Well, let's not act like Earl is some prophet. He saw this coming because nobody saw this coming.
I was just making sure that the viewers are actually, paying attention, keeping them in check, making sure they're actually watching the content.
So wait,
He also go back and watch last week.
Wait, so this is episode 5, not episode 4.
Yeah, I was trying to tell you.
I wish you.
5.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, 5. I'm sorry. We gotta start over. Episode 5 of Beyond the Backboard Podcast.
So Omar, do you want to read the whole trade again?
No, I'm good. We'll edit it somehow.
No, this is staying uncut.
Yeah.
We're going straight through here.
All right.
So let's talk about Damian Lillard. I guess first we could let's start from the Bucks' perspective because they're the team that's getting the superstar. They're the team that's winning Damian Lillard sweepstakes. I really like this from Milwaukee's POV. I was very surprised to see Milwaukee be the team that actually stepped up to the plate and made the trade. I think we all were. They were not in the most recent crop of teams that we heard were potentially interested in Lillard. They weren't even really ever, as far as I'm aware, in the conversation. But I guess they just either entered super late or they did a really good job of keeping their packages under wraps. Either way, if you would have told me yesterday that the Bucks were trading for Damian Lillard, I probably would have said to stay away from it because the Bucks, as they were currently constructed 24 hours ago, were still a championship team. They were still very much in contention. Obviously, they had a very disappointing first-round exit, but you can't discount the fact that the Heat in the playoffs last year were a very, very good team. You can't discount the fact that Giannis missed half the series. A healthy Milwaukee Bucks team is still a favorite to go to the Eastern Conference Finals with, again, how they were constructed with Drew Holiday. So I probably would have said for that reason, y'all don't really need to make a Damian Lillard trade because you're probably going to wind up getting finessed and giving up too much. Now, with that said, now that we know the package, this is a great deal for Milwaukee. The fact that they are only giving up Drew Holiday for the most part, they're giving up Grayson Allen, they're giving up I think 2 first-round picks down the line, 1 or 2. I think either 1 pick and a pick swap or 2 picks, something like that. But they're 28, 29 picks. 2 picks. Okay, they're giving up 2 first-round picks.
1 pick and a 2 pick swaps.
Okay, those are both from Milwaukee. Okay, so 1 pick and 2 pick swaps. So they're really only forfeiting 1 total pick. Obviously, the 2 pick swaps, they'll get the lesser of the 2, but they will still have those picks. They'll still be able to make selections in the draft, which is important. So the fact that they were able to move on from, I don't want to say move on from Drew Holiday because he is a Milwaukee Bucks legend. We were talking, I think, either last week or 2 weeks ago about Drew Holiday. I think it was last week about him versus Brunson. And I was singing Drew Holiday's praises. That guy is still legitimately very, very good. But he's also 33. He's also aging. And when you have a player like Damian Lillard on the table, you do what you have to do. The fact that they're only losing Holiday, Grayson Allen, who's a fine borderline starter, bench player, whatever. He's fine. He's good, but he's nothing to write home about.
Never liked him, by the way.
No, I'll personal issues with him aside, just from a purely basketball standpoint, fine enough player. I think maybe they threw a couple of bench guys in and some picks. Considering that's all it took to get Damian Lillard, who is a top 10 player in the NBA, sometimes looks like a top 5 or an MVP candidate if he's got it hooked up. This is an awesome trade. I mean, for all the rumors about Giannis being unhappy, Giannis wanting to leave, those are gone. That's over. Milwaukee just gave Giannis the best player he's ever played with, probably the best player he will ever play with. The Milwaukee Bucks are legitimately, I should say, could be the title favorites with this move. Could be. I'm not going to say they are, but right now it's Milwaukee, it's Boston, and then there's everyone else in terms of the Eastern Conference. Boston got significantly better this offseason with the Porzingis move. Milwaukee just got significantly better with the Damian Lillard move. So they're obviously just going from one starting point guard to a better one, respectfully to Drew Holiday, but it's very, very tough to be better than Damian Lillard. There's probably only 1 or 2 point guards in the league that are better than Damian Lillard, so They're getting an upgrade at the point guard spot. They're losing Grayson Allen. They're losing a couple picks, but in terms of right here, right now, what gives Milwaukee the best chance to win a championship is a Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo duo. That is going to be scary. As a Knicks fan, I'm dreading playing Milwaukee now because those will absolutely be 3 losses if they're both in there. This could be the best duo in the NBA. It's not crazy to say that Giannis is a top 3 player, maybe the best in the league. I'd say Jokic is probably the best, but Giannis still top. He's 2 or 3. Lillard, healthy, probably top 10 at least, I'd say. And the fact that they still have Brook Lopez, they still have Chris Middleton, they still have Bobby Portis. You figure that in a deal for a player of the magnitude of Damian Lillard, they would have had to give up at least one, if not multiple of those guys. I mean, you see what Portland was trying to get off of Miami. You figure they're going to have to sell the whole state of Wisconsin to them. But, no. All they did was get an upgraded point guard and lose marginal pieces everywhere else that they can probably replace via maybe a smaller trade or a free agency. There's still some solid players out there they can sign. But, honestly, they don't even need it. Their bench is going to be fine as it is. This is a massive, massive W for Milwaukee. Bucks fans, y'all can hold this W. You just secured Giannis for another couple of years. You secured Lillard, assuming he's happy to be in Milwaukee, which I'm guessing he will be, considering this trade was approved. He'll be happy in Milwaukee. The Lillard saga is over. The Bucks are the big winners of this. We can get into looking at it from Portland's perspective and Phoenix's perspective in a little bit, but in terms of Milwaukee Bucks basketball, this is a great day for the Bucks. It's a little early to call them finals favorites, but gosh, it's going to be tough to beat. That responsibility might lie on the shoulders of the Boston Celtics. It will be tough for any team that's not green. It's going to be the 2 green teams, Celtics, Bucks. Any other team in there they're going to have to play above their weight, I think, unless they make some moves. So, awesome move from Milwaukee. I'm glad they got it done. Get Giannis a great running mate for the next couple of years. There's going to be some really fun Bucks basketball on the way for those fans, so I'm excited for y'all.
Man. First of all, hey, great introduction, Omar Max. I can't agree with you more, Max. I think you hit all the good points. But I'll say this, man, it's a good day. It's a good day, man. I'm just happy that the Miami Heat failed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Heat fans. I have to get on y'all first. All y'all were talking about Damian Lillard. We're going to get Damian Lillard. We're going to trade Dame. Dame's going to come to Miami, chill on the beach. We're going to go shoot some threes. That happening, man. I don't know if you guys seen the Jimmy Butler video on Twitter where he said they should be investigating for tampering when, pretty much that's all Jimmy Butler was doing the whole saga when they were looking for Damian Lillard. So I think that was a really, really good joke. But in all seriousness, I think great deal. Like Max said, we had the argument about who was the better point guard, Drew Holiday or Jalen Brunson. And Max kind of went back and forth, but we kind of respectfully like agreed with each other's takes. But I think me and you, Max, can both agree that Damian Lillard is tiers above both of these guys. So either way you put it,
Yes.
I think this was a huge upgrade. People talk about, losing Drew Holiday's defense. I respect Drew as a player. I defended his defense tiers above other guys, point guards in the league. But when you have Damian Lillard who can literally shoot once he passes half court anywhere on the floor, his scoring ability is just unmatched. Like Max said, once again, he is one of the best point guards in the league. There's not a lot of guards who are better than him. And just having him with Giannis, a guy who thrives on finishing efficiently in the paint. They have a guy who thrives on finishing outside of the paint and can finish under the rim as well if he needs to. I think it's like a duo, a match made in heaven, as what people say. I'm really, really excited to see how it goes. Like you mentioned too, the Celtics, they made some big moves, and I'm not gonna say I was kind of worried, but like as far as the Eastern Conference, in order to kind of put yourself above that tier or kind of up there, you have to make Christopher Porzingis on that roster with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I feel like it's a little bit underestimated with their abilities and the way they can mix well together. I think that's gonna be a great team, but I don't know if it compares to Damian Lillard and Giannis. Like, we're talking about two of the best players in the world. Like, I do agree, top 10. I feel like Dame, when he is healthy, I mean, he's been carrying that Portland team for the last how long has CJ McCollum been traded? Like 2 years, right? 2, 3.
I think
Maybe.
McCollum went there in like 2020. I think it's been like 3 years. Because wasn't he on that the bubble Portland team? He was there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he was on Bubble Portland. I remember. Well, he might have been. I can't remember. Well, I'm sure we'll look that up.
Yeah.
But
It's been 2 or 3 years, but it's been a couple of years.
yeah. But regardless, he's been doing a good job of keeping that team afloat. Like, as a Lakers fan, speaking from my perspective, I'm happy, man. We don't have to lose and give up games that don't mean anything, but Portland plays their heart out because Damian Lillard goes out there every time he plays us and drops 40 on us. It doesn't matter who we put on him, how hard we contest him, play defense, he'll just drop us off. So I'm happy to say, I'm pretty sure every Western Conference team is happy to say, enjoy Damian Lillard in the Eastern Coast. We're happy that you guys got him over there. We had our time. But, man, that definitely opens up a lot of space in the Western Conference. I know they weren't really a playoff threat, but it's just like having a team just hanging around with Damian Lillard, especially like if you're a team fighting for playing games, like they take that serious. Dame is a dude who will knock you out. If you give him a chance to get to the playoffs, regardless of the roster he has the ability to have crazy performance games that can be game changers. So just I'm happy for the Bucks, honestly, and it couldn't be a take without referencing the Knicks fans in the chat. Man, Omar was on my head, bro. He was talking about Giannis to the Knicks. He was spamming it. Giannis is gonna be a Knick, 100%. There's no way he's staying. He told me. He said he's gonna be a Knick. I already know it.
Well, in my defense, I didn't know Milwaukee was going after Dame Lillard. If Milwaukee was going after Dame Lillard, I would have shut my mouth.
But in my defense, Knicks fans' narratives are just, I don't know. Who's the next player you guys?
It's all right, dude. We got a plan B. I'm not worried about that.
What's the plan B,
bro?
Real pause. Time out for my take. What's the plan B, real quick?
Joel Embiid. You already know that.
For the record, I don't. For the record, I don't agree with either. I never said we were gonna get Earl. You know, I said we were never gonna get Giannis and we're never gonna get Embiid.
No
I just want to make sure you know I said that. Right? You remember this.
I am confident. Okay, I am confident we will get a good core around Jalen Brunson. This new era of New York Knicks basketball has given me hope, has given me belief.
I respect it.
And I think with the attractiveness that Jalen Brunson has actually brought to the New York Knicks and the assertiveness that he has brought there can certainly bring amongst the superstar. We already have talked about the connections between the Knicks GM and Joel Embiid. Stop laughing at me. I know what you guys are thinking. This guy is freaking crazy. We're all thinking this guy is freaking crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Screw this guy. He's giving me false hope. No, I have actual hope. You are laughing. You are laughing as a Knicks fan.
Omar, it ain't gonna happen, dog. I'm sorry.
Time out, real fast, Omar.
It ain't gonna happen.
Time out. Let me just say this. I'm gonna finish up my Bucks take real fast. Congratulations to the Bucks. I feel like their team definitely got better. All they gave up, like you said, was Drew Holiday. Great player, Hall of Fame Bucks player for sure. He's an NBA champion. I feel like whatever team he gets traded to, he's not gonna be on that property franchise, the Portland Trailblazers. And nor would it be a good place for him to be. They have a lot of young guards that they have to develop. Adding Drew Holiday there doesn't make sense for the timeline, as my guy Max would say. Doesn't make sense for the timeline they're on right now. I think he's going to get traded to contender probably before Monday, in my opinion. I think it's going to be bad. So shout out to the Bucks. They did a really, really good job just scooping in and getting this. Shout out to them. Sorry for the Knicks fan hate. I just thought it was funny. But
no, it's all good. I just want to make sure that it's on the record that I did not think we were getting Giannis, and I don't think we're like you remember me saying that, or like you know where I'm at with that stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta say this,
What
Max.
to
You have
Mitchell?
no hope.
I didn't say that I don't think we're gonna have a good team.
No,
I never said that.
you got no hope. You don't think we'll get either of them. You don't think we'll get anybody.
Oh, we're not getting Giannis.
We're not getting
When
Giannis.
do
Well,
we
we're
get
not
people
getting
on?
Giannis, but there is certainly a lot of room to get Joel Embiid.
There's a chance. I'm not
There's
gonna
a
say
genuine
it's
chance to get
impossible.
Joel Embiid. And then on top of that, it came out this week that Donovan Mitchell is not expected to re-sign with the Cavaliers. Which, yes, will most likely result in him being traded. I'm not saying he'll be traded to New York. I think it's a bad idea. I think we should re-sign him. Wait for him to get into free agency, right? That's what I think personally should happen. But if the Knicks were to trade for him, we wouldn't have to give up a haul. We wouldn't have to give up the likes of RJ Barrett just yet. We would have to be focused around a centered deal around picks and most likely Quentin Grimes and or Emmanuel Quickly, because you have to look for Donovan Mitchell and only.
I thought you were talking about Embiid.
No. This is for Donovan Mitchell. If we were talking about Donovan Mitchell, and if we were talking about because this is his last year on his contract, and if the Knicks should go in. I'm saying they shouldn't dive all in, give in, and give them only RJ Barrett, and then booyah, fuck off RJ. Like, all I'm saying is, if we were to trade for him, it shouldn't be a trade made around players. It should be a trade made around a pick-centric trade, because then we can definitely get him on an extension. I think there's
Okay. I mean, that's valid. Listen, I have my qualms. I don't know if Donovan Mitchell's the piece that we need, but that's a conversation for another day. I feel like we should.
I
If
can
you have
understand
Donovan
that.
Mitchell and Brunson, every team in the NBA is gonna have a fun time. You guys.
Exactly.
Okay,
like,
but
the
you guys
Cavs
need
are
to
already
listen
rolling out the
because
two-guard lineup.
that's where Joel Embiid comes in, and that's where the defense
Whoa,
has.
you're saying Joel will be with Mitchell too?
Yes, it's possible. If we give up, that's where the haul comes in. You guys are not understanding that. That's where the haul comes in. That's where the rest of these.
Ain't worth it though. It ain't worth it at that point. We got good young players. Why not just keep them? They're gonna be good. Grimes will be good. Barrett will be good. Quickly will
They're
be
all
good.
gonna be
Why
worth
not
over
just keep 'em?
$100 million.
We got the money.
We do have.
Saying
the
we got
money.
all this money.
We do have all
Let's
these money.
Keep our players. Let's do what
I
the Knicks
like
never do.
Emmanuel
Let's-
quickly. I don't want to trade him, but if we were to go in that
You're shipping them
direction-
all 5 ways to Sunday for like every superstar though.
No. I'm shipping off the least effective. But I mean, look, you guys are acting. You're also acting like we don't have defense at all. Like in these deals, we would still have Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein, who have proven to be elite offensive rebounders. I'm sorry, and elite
not
around
as
the
much.
rim
Not elite.
defensively.
Hartenstein's not elite at anything.
Hartenstein,
respectfully.
all right. Hartenstein, maybe that
Mitch
was
is a
little bit-
legitimate elite rebounder defender. I'll give
give,
that. He is
I'll give
legitimately elite.
Mitchell elite.
Not Hartenstein yet.
He's
Okay.
not-
So, he's good. He's good
Jericho
for a bench
Sims
guy.
He's
with
above
Jericho
average.
Sims will be dangerous in a few years. The height and the jump is crazy. You can't tell me otherwise. I'm
Come on,
sorry.
there's about 1 billion street players who have that height and that jump, but they're not in the NBA.
Whoa.
There's a reason for that.
Okay.
I
but
love Jericho, but like, let's not act like
He did really
he's
well for
work
the
in
time
progress.
that he was given time to play.
he played a couple good games and then played himself back onto the bench. He's a
Well,
work
I mean,
in
it's
progress.
not. Yeah, but you have to also consider that Mitch came back. If Mitch didn't come back, he would still be in that starting role. You realize
Right.
Tibbs just threw him into the starting role. He kept
Because he-
Isaiah
right, 'cause he had
Hartenstein
to.
on the bench.
he didn't do enough to be able to eat into Hartenstein's minutes. Okay, I feel like we're getting down a Knicks rabbit hole, and that's like not what this podcast
okay,
is.
But we
though.
have the
Good,
time. Let's
good,
do it.
good.
No, but we haven't this trade is like probably the biggest moment of the offseason. We've been waiting all offseason for Damian Lillard to get moved, and it's finally happened, and it's a huge 3-team trade, and there's like the ramifications of this trade go so far, but the one team it does not really reach that at all is the Knicks.
But it's so
Yeah, because
good. Like,
it'll
this
still be good.
conversation is so good, though.
I feel like we should hold this conversation until next week when there's nothing to talk about. We have so much. Okay, we have so
Yeah,
much
you're
to talk about right now.
a good point. When you don't have anything to talk about, just talk about the Knicks. I like
Exactly. But like we actually have something to talk about for once. I want to talk about this. It's like we've been gifted like the trade of all trades.
All right, cool. Time out. Back to the trade. Okay.
Back to the trade.
How are we feeling, guys, about the Suns? Let's talk about the Suns. Talk about the
Suns.
Suns.
I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident they can go somewhere this year. Now that they're starting to fill out their bench with more key role players, I feel like they can. They got off Ayton money, which is going to be proven very vital. They can start to sign more players and trade for more players. They can start doing that now. And I think it's a good idea to kind of just fill out their bench a little more. They need to start grabbing actual proven people that are willing to probably take a pay cut to be able to play with your organization, right? This can be like a Kevin Durant to the Warriors type situation all over again, but they just need to fill out their bench a bit more with better key role players.
Okay. I'll get into my take for the Suns. I'll be honest, I don't really love this for Phoenix. I feel like their best pathway moving forward, like Omar said, they're bought in to the now. They're here to win immediately. And we all know that their biggest weakness is the bench. That's where they struggle the most. So what I kind of envisioned for them was that they would trade Ayton and they would get a plethora or like 3 or 4 good guys. Not like elite guys, but just 3 or 4 good guys. Like, guys 4 through 7 in their rotation. Guys to, make it so that the fall off from Bradley Beal and number 3 is not like super duper far. They would kind of fill out their roster with that. This trade is not really accomplishing that. Like, Nurkic is a step down from Ayton, I'd say, right now. Obviously, Nurkic gives them way more scoring and like presence in terms of like versatility around the basket. But if there's one thing the Suns don't need, it's scoring. We know that. They need defense more than anything. And Ayton is certainly a plus defender. I'm not gonna act like he's the best defensive big out there, but he's still 7'7". He can give you good rebounds. He can give you good paint protection. So Nurkic is a step down. He's also older, which isn't. I mean, at this point, you don't really care about age on Phoenix, but still, it's never a good thing to get older, I'll say, in that case, if you're not getting better. They get Grayson Allen, who I kind of spoke about him on the Bucks. He's solid, but, fringe starter, fringe bench player, not going to do a heck of a lot. Again, doesn't bring much defense, which is what this team needs. And then Nasir Little and Keon Johnson, I'll be honest, those are not guys that should be getting much of any minutes where they're at right now. Like, they're both young players. They have upside, but Nasir Little's been in the league for a couple of years now. He's never really had a breakout season to where you're like, okay, this guy is a rotational player. He should be getting rotational minutes. I still feel like he's that work in progress. And Keon Johnson's just never really shown much of anything in terms of like his role in the NBA and being able to produce night in, night out. So you're getting 2 guys who really you can't depend on for minutes. Grayson Allen, who's fine, Nurkic, who's good, but like that's all they got for DeAndre Ayton. Like, I'm sorry, I feel like the Suns really sold themselves. Either they sold themselves short, or I'm greatly overvaluing DeAndre Ayton's trade value. Because yes, he does have a fat contract, and I will say there's a lot of teams out there that would love to have Ayton but can't take him because of the money. But I still think the Phoenix could have gotten. They should have focused more instead of getting like a good centering a package around like one player, which they did here with Nurkic. They should have just gotten like 3 or 4 good players instead of going for like one kind of very good player and then like 3 guys who really aren't going to move the needle that much. Like, they need balance. That's what this roster needs, is balance. This doesn't feel like they're balancing out their roster. All this does is bloat their roster. They already have plenty of guys, fringe rotational players who really shouldn't be getting that many minutes. Like, they have Keita Bates-Diop and like Jock Landale. Like, none of these guys have proven that they can play 15, 20 minutes a night on a winning NBA team. So that's what worries me about Phoenix, that they needed to make a trade that would significantly upgrade those spots and move those guys to the end of the bench. This doesn't really change their rotation much. They just downgrade from Ayton and add Grayson Allen. Other than that, their team's looking the same as it was before this trade. So I'm a little puzzled. If this was really the best they could get for DeAndre Ayton, then I guess you'd take it. But darn, like that's kind of, if I'm Phoenix fans, I'm disappointed here. Like, I don't really feel like this helps you win a championship. This is a lateral move, if anything, a downgrade. Because like I said, Ayton's going to leave a big defensive hole in the middle. And when you got Nurkic and Jock Landale as your centers, that team's going to struggle to rebound. And if you need a lesson on the importance of rebounding in basketball, look no further than Team USA this offseason. So I'm a little worried for Phoenix here with this trade. Unless they're cooking something, I'm not. I think they could have done better.
I agree with you to an extent. However, I feel like there was also probably another reason why they could have traded it, and it's probably strictly because of money and space. Because we've been seeing, like, all offseason, they've literally been grasping at straws trying to get players to take really cheap contracts, right?
Right, but my only thing with that is that the offseason's over now, and it's like the cap space is kind of irrelevant because like now you're locked up, they're way over the cap. You know, they can only sign guys at vet minimums. I don't think this trade changes that. I don't think they opened up a ton of cap because Nurkic is still on a decent deal, and like regardless of Nurkic, like Booker, Beal, and Kevin Durant puts them over the cap basically by themselves. So I see what you're saying there, but like what they can't really, they still can't use the money. Once you're over the salary cap, you can go as far over as you want, right?
Perhaps. I just feel like the taxes on that are a lot higher. It's probably based on how much more you spent, the higher the tax. But my point to that is like you can still make trades in the regular season to be able to open up your roster. If you're able to trade more or less of those players, you can get more expensive players that are going to give you their all and that are going to serve you really well. I mean, I don't believe they're over it by that much anymore. I believe they're still over it a teensy bit. I'm not 100% sure on that. But this deal has definitely cleared up like a good $100 million off their plate. You have to remember, like, it took a minute for DeAndre Ayton to even get that contract. And then when he finally got the contract, it was like, yeah, we're going to match it because we know your value. And then they ended up, what it looks like to be trade value was shit. I mean, Yusuf Nurkic was your highest paid player. It doesn't look appetizing. But, I mean, you got to, I guess you have to think about it from a business perspective in which, like, you're probably saving money.
Well, I'm looking at their salary cap breakdown right now. Durant for this year is due to make about $47 million, Beal 46, and Booker 36. So that right there, I think, is going to put them over. And then you've got Nurkic at about 17, Grayson Allen at 9, Nasir Little at 6. Really, they definitely lost salary cap, but I feel like they're so far over. If, like you said, Omar really is just about the tax and it's the owner.
Because they were over the third apron. But what it sounds like is they're only over the second one, or only over the first one. They were over the third apron, and that was a problem. And they were borderline. They were borderline like saying like, "Yo, get rid of some players, get rid of some money." But
okay. If that's the case, and it's like they were really pushing that tax and to the point where it's just like astronomically insane, then fine. Like I can see that. But then that just brings me back to the question of why the heck y'all brought in, Bradley Beal to begin with, because you knew this would happen. Like we all knew the salary cap numbers. Like those three players alone probably put you in like the first apron or the second apron. Like they at least put you over the cap. So it doesn't like they gotta get rid of one of those guys if they're ever going to have like salary cap space. Like,
well, let's look at
sign a free agent.
Well, let's look at the key difference, and the key difference was a new owner came into play.
True,
and gave him some demand and was like, if you don't trade for Bradley Beal, I'll wipe my hands off. Like you're done. That's probably what happened. Like Matt Sheba was probably playing freaking NBA 2K.
I don't even think Bradley Beal, I don't know if it like moves the needle like that as far as like fit. I still gotta see it, man. Like, I'll be one to say, I think the Suns have a lot of talent on their. Whether that all fits together is a story for a different day. I think, like you guys said, Nurkic. Oh, sorry. like I said, Nurkic, he's not a bad center. Like he's a really decent center. He's a really decent big. But does that make you better? Like, is that a better fit than Aiden? I just don't think so. I think the reason Aiden got traded was because there was a lot of confrontation with him, front office. I would say coaching staff, but obviously Monty Williams left. We did talk about this. I believe we talked about this a couple of days ago, maybe, or maybe I'm getting where we talked about how maybe Aiden could have gotten a better chance on this team. Coaching staff with Frank Vogel, he does a good job of utilizing bigs who specialize in. I thought Frank Vogel and Aiden would have been really, really nice pairing, but obviously they didn't really believe the same um, concept. And I do agree with Max. It just feels like for his value, like don't get me wrong, Bucks for sure got their value, but as far as just Aiden, it just feels like they threw in Aiden on this deal just to get rid of him. Like that's what it feels like to me. I feel like he could have been a whole different separate package. Got decent role players, like Max said, rotational players, back maybe like 4 through 6 or whatever, who actually play meaningful minutes, are good in their role. Back for the Suns, which is what they need right now. They need better players off the. Like Omar saying, they were just signing players. Just hey, you play basketball, we'll give you $1 million. Like that's literally that was their free agency. They were signing anybody who can breathe in the NBA community and had good health. That's really all it. They didn't have a lot of selection. So
Yeah.
maybe they were trying to clear books. I don't know. Maybe that was a bigger overall thing. But free agency is over, man. There's not really no players out there who are going to get signed or can't really even get signed for that type of value they're looking for. So I don't know if this makes the Suns better. I'm just not a huge believer in what they got going on. All I got to say, too, as a Lakers fan, the thought of Nurkic and Lockdale as far as their big rotation does not scare me at all. Like AD is going through that. Like that's easy. That's literally easy work. And a lot of guys like you're gonna have trouble with the Joel Embiids of the world. The even I can say Pablo Bancheros of the world will go through those type of guys. So they're gonna have a lot of things to figure out as far as like roster construction, how things work. They're super talented, but I just think trading for Bradley Beal wasn't the best idea. Like, I don't know who thought that was the best fit. I
Matt
just
Ishbia.
don't see how it's gonna work. And no, he's the point guard too. Marking out as a point guard when he's never been that in his career is actually insane. He's never been a guy who is willing just straight up passer. He's a scorer, and there's nothing wrong with guys being scored. So I don't know. I just don't know if the fit's there, and I don't know if this trade made them better. I think out of everybody, they got the worst. And
Yeah. Also, I did a little bit more digging actually in terms of the salary cap because I know we were just talking about that. DeAndre Ayton's total salary per year is 33 million. If you add up all the players they got in this trade, if I'm not mistaken, they're gonna make more. Like those four players will make more combined this year than DeAndre Ayton does.
I
Like
guess
it's
I was
close.
wrong. I was wrong.
Nasir Little's making 9 mil I know Grayson Allen's making 9 mil, about 9 mil himself, and Nasir Little's making about 6. So you combine that with Nurkic's 16, almost 17, you're looking at 32, 33 right there. And then Keon's probably at like a 1 or 2 mil. So I think they had to do this to make the salaries match. So
Wait, you said
they're
16
spreading
and
out
then
their money amongst
6?
more players, but they're not really saving money.
Oh wait,
I
no, you
think
said 16 then 9. That gives him 23, and then you gave Nasir Little what? How much?
25,
How much?
25.
How much does Nasir Little make?
6 point. I think he's 6.9 or almost 7. Nurkic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
right.
give you the exact numbers. Nurkic is 16.8. Grayson Allen is 8.9, and the Nasir Little is 6.2, and John Johnson is 2.8. So you add those up, that's more per year.
Yeah.
Obviously, long term, DeAndre Ayton was locked into a 3 or 4 year deal at 33. So I think long term they're saving money with this. I don't know how long Nurkic's contract is, but in terms of this year, what they can do right now, it's a lateral move.
I guess the most positive spin I can come up with is maybe they did it this way so it's easier to move contracts as far as trades. Like
Mhm.
maybe having that big huge Aiden contract was hard to just trade off one. Why not split it into like 4 pieces and make like smaller deals throughout the year? That's the only way you can probably positively spin this, in my opinion. Because like you guys said, I don't think they got like just significantly better from the deal. Some people argue they got a little bit worse. I don't know, but it is interesting. I don't know. I'm not too scared of the Suns. I think their biggest enemy right now is defense. But time will tell. We'll see what happens. I think Nurkic can be a decent defender, and it's about health too, man. He's been really unhealthy the last year or two, year and a half or so. Um, Nurkic goes down, like he got locked out. What? I mean, Bobo. I mean, he's gonna turn into a 99 paint defensive wing or whatever. I don't know. I don't know, bro. But just coming from a perspective of a different fan, like in the Western Conference, those bigs don't really move me in like a way where I'm nervous. Like I think that you still gotta grab boards, like you guys said. You still gotta play paint defense. Those are two huge factors that I'm not sure how they're gonna perform to start the season. I could be completely wrong, but just outside looking in, this doesn't kind of move me as being like kind of scared of the sun.
Yeah, I think the most positive way I can spin it is that they're going to be great on offense. Like this could be some historic all-time offensive numbers because like Nurkic is 100% a step up from Ayton, but again, like you said, Earl, you need the defense. If this truly is just a move to like spread some pieces around and they're going to make more trades to unload the contract because there's no unmovable contracts, and I think you're right, Earl, in that if this was just splitting the Ayton contract up over 4 players that are very movable, like you can trade Nurkic at 17 mil. You can trade Grayson Allen at 9 to see Little at 6. There's nothing in there where it's like you wouldn't touch that, but Ayton at 33 is untouchable for a lot of teams. So if that's the vision, then I guess I can see it a little bit more, but that requires there to be some more trades down the line, which I think, speaking of trades down the line, is the perfect segue into Portland and what they got going on with this trade.
Oh yeah, with Drew Holiday, what kind of trades could they be looking at, right? I mean, they're probably looking at Philadelphia right now, thinking they can probably get like James Harden or something. I don't think.
I don't
That's
know.
possible,
I mean,
like,
I think they're gonna want to go young. If they didn't want to go young and they just wanted talent, they'd keep Drew Holiday because Drew Holiday is very talented.
I
But
mean, look, you kind of got to look at it like this. You give I think it could be a good way to just like get off of James Harden, and Portland can just like sit him for all they care, like, you know.
I mean,
but then you're getting nothing out of Drew Holiday, and he was the best player in this trade.
yeah, I feel like the point of them getting Drew Holiday was to move him for like a rotational piece, honest. Not like I think any position but a point guard to trade him for, as far as just a player for their roster. You got to think.
I mean,
The reason why they don't want him is they're guard heavy. They got Scoot Henderson. They got Simmons as well. They got Simon. Sorry. Who else is Shaden Sharp as well. Like they got really good, talented guards. Keeping Drew Holiday, he's way too good a player to play the mentor role right now in his career, especially like the production bringing as far as value to the court. So I think they trade him to contender. What they get out that package, I'm not sure, but I know a lot of Eastern Conference, Western Conference who will pay a good price to have Drew Holiday as their starting point guard, best defenders in the NBA. And I mean, like I said, he's a guy who can go out there. If you want him to go get 40, you tell him, hey, Drew, go give me 30. He can get you 30. But he buys into the role of being that traditional type point guard. So, I mean, as a Lakers fan, I would love to see him. There's no way we can get him personally unless he got bought out. But I'm pretty sure every team will want a Drew Holiday type player.
I mean, you said it before. There could be a trade involved where you could probably like trade D'Lo and probably some.
But we can't trade him till like midway through the season with his new contract. So there's pretty much no way. Honestly,
yeah.
I think the Lakers are set. I don't think they're looking. I think they're just sitting back and watching this. Y'all been trading. Y'all got your trades done.
Yeah. For sure, we're done. But I ain't gonna lie, if it happened a little bit early in the season, hey, different story. But I'm happy with it.
I mean,
yeah,
I think
go ahead,
that's
Omar.
a good idea, and I think Portland did get kind of a really good deal because they got a nice young center who they can they could probably rely on. They have the problem was with the Suns is where I've said this before. They're way too oversaturated in the fact that they have too much talent, right? They have too much. Like everybody says, you can always get too much of the wrong thing or too much of the right thing, and it can like end up off balancing your whatever you got going on. And this is exactly what happened, and it kind of proved it right in the sense where you have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal as your first 3 options, and then you take a significant step down to DeAndre Ayton, who's probably just there to collect his rebounds. If you get DeAndre Ayton on another team where you're not expecting him to perform to the best of his ability every single night, I feel like he can give you more. I know how that sounds, trust me, but if you take the expectations off of him and just let him play and have fun and have some freedom, I think you can have a really good center. I mean, like,
Yep.
We've seen this. Like, I don't want to get back into the Knicks, but somebody I don't want to get back into the Knicks. But earlier today, I saw Mitchell Robinson's trainer. He came out and he spoke, and he like tagged Tom Thibodeau, and he was like, please give this man more freedom. Let him do more back to the basket stuff. Let him score the ball more. I promise you, it's gonna be so good, and he's gonna bring your team to the next level. And I honestly think if we could give Mitchell Robinson that freedom that they're looking for, it could be really good. Like, give more possessions to Mitchell Robinson, who's more or less gonna give you a guaranteed bucket by the rim, than Julius Randle, who's more efficient from the mid range than I feel like he's in the interior. Personally, that's my just personal opinion.
Yeah.
So I'd rather give the ball to Mitch on that thing. But that just leads into how DeAndre Ayton is. You need somebody with no expectations to just go out, have fun, give them their freedom, and they can ball.
Yeah, that's a good point, Omar. I do agree with you in that DeAndre Ayton has a really good opportunity here, like an opportunity he's really never had in his career to really like take over, be a dominant force in the center position. That's why I was saying earlier about like it's not out of the question that he could be an all-star. Like until he develops like an outside shot, his game will have like a definite ceiling on it, but that ceiling could still be an all-star caliber player. We've seen bigs like Rudy Gobert, like DeAndre Jordan, make a big impact without having much of any sort of jump shot and become like great dominant big men in the league without really having much of a jump shot. I mean, heck, Kevon Looney is like 6'9" with no jump shot, but like he was a key piece of that Warriors championship team. So, a non-shooting big definitely can't exist in the modern game, especially when you got 4 shooters around him. So I'm very excited for Ayton. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for him. But Portland definitely did get a very, very solid young piece in him. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Ayton. They forget that like he was probably the second or third best player on that Suns finals team. Like when they went there with Booker and CP3, it was Booker, CP3, and Ayton. So he's got some playoff experience under his belt, and some meaningful playoff finals games, which is awesome to have for someone as young as him. So his upside is pretty darn high. And if he ever gets a jump shot, rest of the league should definitely watch out for DeAndre Ayton. But it's tough for me to really grade the Portland trade right now as it is, because it really does hinge on Jrue Holiday and what they're able to get for him. Because just looking at it in terms of what they have right now, this was not a good trade. Like, they go from having Damian Lillard, like we said, a top 10 player in the NBA. Point of trading him is to get younger, to start the rebuild, to start fresh, gain some young pieces for the future. They got Ayton, which we all like. They only got, I think, 2 unprotected firsts and a couple pick swaps, which, considering what we've seen Rudy Gobert go for on the open market, or like a Bradley Beal go for, that seems pretty skimpy to me. He got some solid bench players here, but none of them are really that young or that promising. So this all hinges on what they get from Jrue Holiday. If they are able to flip Jrue Holiday into, let's say, a Tyrese Maxey, I don't know, just to use the Sixers example. I don't know how that would happen, but let's just say they're able to get like a player like a Tyrese Maxey, or, again, probably would not happen, but like an RJ Barrett, like a promising young talent who is already established as a very good player, kind of like Ayton, but like a different position. Like we said, they're good at guard. They need a wing, or if they can just get another young guard to add to their fold, great. But they need to get some value, even if it's just more picks. Maybe they're able to trade Jrue Holiday for 3 or 4 first-round picks, in which case this trade makes a whole lot more sense for them. As it is right now, we don't know. Jrue Holiday is by far the most valuable asset they got in this, and they're not going to keep him because he doesn't fit their timeline. He's, 32, 33. He needs to be on a championship team. His best fit is on a championship team. Playing on Portland would just waste his time. It wastes Scoot Henderson's time. It's wasting Anthony Simon's time. It's wasting Shaden Sharp's time. It's wasting everyone's time. So if they're able to move Jrue Holiday for some good assets, then I would say, you know what, Portland, you got the best you could. But this package in and of itself for Damian Lillard, one of the biggest trades we've seen in recent NBA history, this man should have commanded more in terms of value that the trade could give to Portland. Again, Jrue Holiday, fantastic player, not a good fit on Portland. If they're not able to unload him for a package that really sets them up for a positive rebuild to where they can contend with like top rebuilders in the NBA with you got OKC's rebuild right now, Utah's got a good rebuild, Orlando's got some exciting pieces, Detroit. If Portland is not able to elevate themselves into that discussion of like best rebuilding team with, post Damian Lillard, then the trade is going to have to be viewed as a failure, at least in the short term. Like right now, they need to get something for Drew Holiday, have a direction, get the rebuild going as soon as possible, make everyone happy. I think one of you said it'll probably happen by Monday. Hopefully it'll happen by Monday. That'd be great if it did for them. And then we'll be able to know exactly what did Portland get for Damian Lillard. So I'm not going to grade this trade until we actually know, in the broad scheme of things, what the trade for Damian Lillard actually looks like.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you can flip Drew Holiday for probably a good wing. I don't see why it's impossible to do that. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be the likes of RJ Barrett though.
Yeah, no, he was just an example of just like a good young
No,
player.
but I'm saying like also like the likes of him, like people of similar skill level to him, because I feel like with aging players, you also have to consider that they're aging and they're older and stuff like that. And even though they are champions, you have to look at them like. Unfortunately, I hate the way this is going to sound, but you have to look at him like an asset. You have to look at him like something that's going to continuously keep getting older and then continuously digress from where he is now. And you also have to take the risk and responsibility of that player also probably retiring. Like, who says he won't retire by 35? NBA players don't go till they're 40. The last person that did that was Kobe, and I think it was 39. I might be wrong. Check me, but I don't know. Rest in peace, Kobe. But still, like.
Are you just saying like was good up until that point, or like played?
I'm just saying that I'm not sure if it's gonna be a high quality wing, because.
Fair. Yeah, Holiday is 33.
Yes,
Yeah.
so
32.
that's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay, I mean maybe yeah. I think there will be some team that's close to a championship that's willing to sell on a good young player or two. Like you said, maybe not to the capabilities of RJ Barrett. He's just the first player I thought because I'm a Knicks fan, but I definitely think they could flip him into a solid little piece or two, and they could have a pretty dangerous starting lineup.
I think a solid trade offer, like if I would say like a direct NBA player that I would trade with probably Drew Holiday, would probably be like a Norman Powell, to be completely honest.
All right.
I'm sorry? What?
Drew Holiday. Oh, time out. I let you have your
No.
I let you have your RJ take. I'm sorry, but respectfully, Drew Holiday can command an RJ Barrett type of player or somebody around that type of skill.
At 33 years old.
Yes, Drew
He's
Holiday.
an all-star. He just made the all-star team.
Defender in the NBA. He was just an all-star. Was he on defensive all-first team or maybe second? I'm assuming it was first.
If he wasn't, he should have been on first.
Exactly. Like, he is that great of a player, man. He played with Giannis side by side. He's that guy, man. Go check the numbers. Go check the averages. He's a guy you want on your team if you want to compete for the championship.
I'll be honest.
All right, maybe that was a step too far, but you get what I'm trying to say.
If I could trade RJ Barrett for Drew Holiday straight up, I would.
100%.
I would do that.
I would not think about it. I would not lose sleep at night.
I would.
I might lose a little bit of sleep.
That
A little
fucks
bit.
up
Maybe
our
you
timeline so much. Don't even say that.
It
That
does.
fucks up our timeline
It
really
does.
badly.
Bro,
That's the
Well,
only thing.
The thing about it is you can trade away RJ Barrett. Time as a contract runs out, he can come back, and Drew Holiday could already won y'all 2 championships. And
Everybody says that, but then everybody leaves. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just an endless cycle of evil.
Timeline is messed up with with Julius. There is no timeline.
Bro, Julius is gone. All right, he left CAA. He's gone.
Bro,
He's out of here.
Bro, all that. He's
I'll trade Randall for Holiday. If they want Randall, I'll do that.
I
I'll do that in
wouldn't
a
do that
heartbeat.
either. I'm sorry, I
I
wouldn't.
would sleep way better at night knowing
Bro,
we got Holiday over
I'm gonna
Randall.
need an upgrade if I'm trading Julius Randle. I'm sorry. He's only gonna be a part of a bigger deal, if anything.
I'm taking a downgrade for Randall at this point, but again, we're not talking about the Knicks.
I'm taking an NBA champion over Julius Randle.
I'm not any NBA champion. I'm not taking like Patrick McCall, but that
I'm also
NBA
not
champion I'll
taking. I'm
take.
also not taking Bobby Portis over.
A key NBA
Shout out Bobby
champion
Portis.
contributor, I'll say. A contributor on a
Good
championship.
question. Would I rather have Bobby Portis or Randall? Like,
Bobby.
obviously Randall is much better, but just in terms of like not being a ball hog and helping winning basketball, I'd have to think about that one. He's significantly better.
Man, that's
No, it's a good conversation.
guys.
Next week, next week, Omar, I promise.
An
there'll be
ex,
nothing
an
to
ex
talk
Bobby,
about.
an ex Nick versus a Nick. Who would you rather have? The ex Nick.
I might take the ex-Nick there, but we can talk about that next week. I promise we'll do a whole podcast about just the Knicks.
Julius Randle. I'm not even a Knicks fan, but come on, guys. Julius, you take Julius. You can get a better player than Bobby Portis for Julius Randle, regardless of how he
like
plays.
Joel Embiid.
Okay, and you gotta take it too.
Y'all
far.
sleeping on Bobby Portis. I'm just saying. I'm sleeping a little bit. Just a little bit.
I love
I'm-
Bobby. Don't you ever say that. I love Bobby.
I love Bobby Portis. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like I might think about that. Trade
Girls,
for Zion.
Bobby Portis is the power forward you wish you had. That made no sense, but yeah, all right.
All right, let's wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts on about this from Portland's perspective, if we got any.
I mean, honestly, again, I think this is strictly just the money move, and I feel like DeAndre Ayton with no weight on his shoulders is really gonna develop really nicely, and I feel like that Scoot Henderson DeAndre Ayton duo with them training together and getting better together, that's really gonna be interesting. I know it's gonna seem like a step down because he goes from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker to Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons. Yeah, on paper you're gonna be like, oh, okay, but you have to realize with a new coach, with a new roster, with new people, you're basically starting from square one. Like that is the ultimate ticket for a player to start from day one. And I think that's all DeAndre Ayton really needed.
Yeah. I mean, listen, could Ayton be a beast? Very much so. I've got him on my fantasy team, and I'm looking forward to this season.
For now.
Just say that. For now.
For Jalen Green.
This is what I'll say. I'm gonna end my part of the takeoff here. Portland Trailblazers, as a franchise, will win a championship before the Suns. That's
Ooh. That's a hot take. That's actually a good conversation to have. I think we could dig a little bit more into that. My first impressions, without thinking much about it, is it's tough to say that when the Suns do have that much talent. Like, they have the proven talent already. That's an interesting conversation. So right now, I'd say the Suns, but I might have to think about that.
But the window, Max.
The
How old is
window.
Kevin Durant?
The window.
How old is Bradley Beal? How old is Devin Booker? Just saying.
But could the Suns sneak a championship at the end of that window while
All right, wait.
Portland's
I gotta
still on
ask
the way
this.
up?
I gotta ask this. Do we think that Damian Lillard is gonna turn into the next player that's gonna be passed around to teams?
No.
No.
Do we think he's staying on Milwaukee?
Yeah.
I
Come
don't.
on.
think,
Yeah,
I think
unless
he's
something
gonna,
goes horribly wrong. Unless
Yeah.
something really implodes. I think
if he gets one of those Kemba Walker type injuries, it might be done for him. But that's about it.
Yeah, but that's any player.
With all
He's
due
not
respect to
necessarily
Kemba
injury
Walker,
prone.
You know what I mean?
That was very
Yeah.
extreme.
Yeah.
There's no reason to think that will happen. Like Kemba Walker, he had a big injury that led to smaller injuries. Lillard's not really injury prone, so that could happen to any player. Just get injured and wind up bouncing around from team to team. So I have no reason that's no more likely to happen to Lillard than it is to happen to any other player. So.
And I'll say this too, Damian Lillard, I'm happy for you. You're gonna play in Milwaukee, another place you can live with not a lot of distractions out there socially. Play basketball, have a good time. I'm glad you find yourself a nice duo, and you deserve it, man. You deserve to play winning basketball in your prime. I wasn't a fan of the way things handled with the Miami Heat situation, but since you didn't get traded to the Heat, all things are good with me. I'm just glad you didn't get to, because that was craziness to happen. But I'm glad you're a Buck. I hope you enjoy your time there. And I think they're going to play really great winning basketball in Milwaukee. And I almost think that's the perfect place he could have went. Better, in my opinion, he went there than Miami. I think he'll go
Close.
Mm-hmm.
It's close. Yeah. Between Miami and Milwaukee, I don't think he could have gone wrong, assuming the Heat didn't completely deplete themselves. But
the Heat did not completely deplete themselves. They literally just didn't want to give them one more pick.
Yeah, well, but not knowing what that Heat package would have looked like,
right
he may not find here.
Think about what the Heat gave up, gave Vincent, Max Strus, which, regardless of what people say,
that,
they were really great rotational players for that system. The Bucks, they gave up Drew Holiday, which they replaced with Damian Lillard, then they gave up Grayson. Same system, same great guys. They got Brook Lopez. They got Brook Lopez. They got don't they still have Pat Connaughton?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, Pat. They got Portis obviously still.
Yeah, Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton. Sorry, I forgot your name. My bad, brother.
I thought we were talking about bench guys, but yeah.
Yeah. But just in general, their system is there. All you do is plug and play Damian. You tell me I plug and play Damian Lillard. People really think they're gonna be worth? Come on, bro. That was the purpose for the Bucks.
Yeah,
I love
Yeah.
it.
I think they're going to be dangerous, but it also kind of triggered this thought where I had a feeling this was going to happen. I didn't think, obviously, like, Damian Lillard was going to get traded to the Bucks or something, but I definitely thought it was going to be this, like, really, really, like, maxed out deal. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a lot more. And I thought the Heat would give up more. Like, I thought originally before Max Strus was traded and before they started letting a lot of guys go, like Gabe Vincent and stuff like that, I thought they were originally going to re-sign them to trade them to Portland to try to get Damian Lillard. I thought like that would have been something good. But, I mean, all of these players were unfortunately signed with other teams. Gabe Vincent was signed to Los Angeles Lakers. And
Cash money.
we got, like, I mean, I think where they really messed up is when they, like, traded away Max Strus.
Interesting.
Biggest
I would say the opposite, honestly. I think that Strus isn't as much of a loss as Vincent for what that team needed.
True. But I
they-
also do
yeah.
feel like both of them brought value in different ways, bro. Like I just feel like Miami Heat, they had a terrible offseason. I don't care. Heat fans can try to disguise it however they want. When I see the offseason grades come out, I don't want them sniffing anything past the D plus.
Literally.
But
Thank you.
I could see like a C at high, C minus C.
but they didn't.
I
Really
don't think like just because I'm not that high on Max Strus.
True. No, I mean like as far as like you know how they give grades of like what you did in the offseason, good moves, bad
Yeah.
moves. But I don't even know who did they trade away. Who did they get in that deal?
It's actually a good question. It's probably
I
looked
wanna
at that
look that
before.
up.
See, if
Uh-huh.
we're asking, then I mean, it couldn't have been anything too crazy, respectfully.
I know he went to the Cavaliers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, who did they get off the cap?
Was it just
Sign and
picks?
Trade, right?
I
Maybe
believe
it was just
so.
picks. It was just sign and trade, right?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm pulling.
It may have been a sign and trade. I'm not sure.
Free
though.
agent guard Max Strus has agreed to 4 years, $63 million contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are landing Strus in a 3-team deal that'll send Cedi Osman and Lamar Stevens and a second-round pick to the San Antonio Spurs and Cleveland's second-round pick to the Miami Heat. All they got was a second-round pick.
They added.
That's a deal.
I think they added Thomas Bryant. That seems to be their only acquisition. And Jamie Jakes Jr. I don't know how to say his last name, but
Jaime Jaquez, yeah.
Okay, you know
Jaime
what?
Jaquez. Okay.
For their draft
They
pick,
added him.
we'll give them a C minus. Just because that draft pick, that was a really good draft pick. I
Nah,
agree.
bro.
That was a
they
good draft
they traded one of their most high performing like rotational players when they were in the finals during this playoff season for a second round pick.
Yeah.
That's kind of ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll
That itself gives their season a D minus.
Hey, I try
And
to
then
be
on
nice.
top of
Next
that,
up,
not signing
C minus
Damian
is
Lillard.
harsh.
Huh?
I was saying I try to be nice. I'll give him the best grade I could possibly give him minus just for the draft pick. I feel like he's gonna be a really decent player. Give him some time, give him
Okay.
some development, but they're not sniffing passes. Respectfully,
No,
I think you convinced me, Earl. I think you convinced me
No,
down to a
like-
D plus because I looked at their
Okay,
roster. I'm like,
going
they just
back
got
to D+.
worse.
All right, then I'm going back to D plus, guys. I'm going back.
Things just
You know,
Just
no,
because, like
no.
D plus C minus. Like, what's that range? Like a D is
I
like a
would say F.
70.
But I'm trying to be respectful.
A D is a 70, or like no, a C minus is 70. Sorry, C minus is 70. D plus is like I'll give him a 69.
Yeah, 69.
All right, so Daniel said something in the chat earlier. Daniel, our friend from our
Mhm.
league, right? He said something earlier. He sent a picture of Masai Ujiri and was like, "This is Omar," right? And he said, and the post said, "Let me find it." Somebody I know who dealt with Toronto's front office that I talked to this week called Masai the guy in your fantasy league who offers 5 trades a week and cancels them last minute before you can't decide whether to accept them or not. And yes, that is me
100%
because
Omar.
me and Earl have had countless conversations. But I wanted to like go into this like really lightly, but this is why Toronto didn't get Dame was because they simply wouldn't move OG Anunoby.
I mean, I'm glad he didn't go to Toronto. That would have been a waste of his time. I agree with Stephen A. There was nothing productive happening for Damian Lillard in Toronto. I'm glad he didn't get banished over there, respectfully. Not saying Toronto's a bad place, all my Canadian viewers. I'm just saying, as far as like a basketball organization, they have to find their priorities before they bring in more stars. When they brought in Kawhi Leonard, they were established. They were just missing that one piece. Now the whole band is broken up, and they're just trying to throw different things at the fire, and it's just making it respect.
Yeah, I think he would have been a solid fit in Toronto, but it definitely would not have made him a championship contender. So he's better off where he's at right now in Milwaukee for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we could wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much, everybody, for tuning in to Beyond the Backboard Podcast, episode 5. And special episode because
Who would have thought we'd make it through 5 episodes without getting canceled?
Yeah, I know, right? It sounds so weird. What's up?
We haven't missed a week.
We haven't missed
Not
a week.
missed a week. Look at that. Consistency.
Consistency is key, boys. We got to keep it going. We will try our best to start streaming every week on Wednesday around 5 p.m. and then we will also start posting on YouTube more often with more shorts.
Live?
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that everybody of our viewers knows that we will start going on Twitch more effortlessly and we will start doing that more. And I wanted to, again, thank everybody for tuning in and see you guys later. Thanks, guys.
Peace out,
So,
guys.
y'all, happy Damian Lillard saga. It's